What you doing?
Walking.
It's a wet, gloomy day out.
Yeah.
I'm recording you.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll turn and face everybody so you can hear what I'm saying, because I've noticed some of the videos I'm just kind of mumbling and jumbling, but this panel is going to be behind the vanity, and I've got 8'1", 8'1¼ from floor to ceiling, and I don't want gaps in here to mess with. So I knew I had a cutout for the top panel, and I made that panel only 36 inches tall. That brings my my next panel to be 48, comes up down here. So now what that does for me is I eliminate having mud going through the middle of a receptacle. That would be at 48 inches there. And I don't have to do any mud work around these. I'm going below it. Any seam would be in the back, underneath, behind the vanity. So that simplifies the quality of that work back there. It's just a simple once and done. You don't have to have 3 or 4 coats on that. So that makes it a little bit easier. But as long as you're not putting a seam right in the middle of a switch panel, because most of them are 48 inches off the floor. And this is just a little bit awkward doing this height, but I'm finding ways around it. As you can see in the hallway, I brought it up, put a 1/2 inch under it, and brought it up a 1/2 inch. And then I put a 1/2 inch between it, and I ended up with like a 1/4 inch or more at the top. So that gives you an idea of what I was running into for that size. But I'm working on it, I'm getting it. But I thought it would be easier to take this joint here and not have it in anything, and then this one down here where it wouldn't make a bit of difference. Right now I'm just getting my measurements, and that's very important to get all this stuff exactly right. So I make a storyboard on every piece I make. And it's just scrap material. I cut it off in whatever little blanks. It's just like using a piece of paper, but this gets thrown away anyway, so I might just well get some use out of it. So I've got from here down, that's what this is. Then I got from here back, because that was a factory end on that 4x8 sheet. I cut off the right side of that 4x8 sheet to create this length. I've already got that cut. So now I'm just going to go over there and I'm going to start marking all these according to the numbers that I get when I pull from left to right and continue and get these. So this is this pipe, this is this pipe, and I still have to get my down measurements from here to the top of the pipe so I can create that hole. And I don't want it too big, I don't want it too far off, I want it right where it's supposed to be. So yeah, I've got to measure. So I'll get back with you.
Do you measure to the top of the pipe, or do you measure to the middle of the pipe, or do you measure to the bottom?
It depends on what you want to do. For my light fixtures, you see how I did my light fixture? I measured to the side and then again to the other side, all right? And then as well as from the top down to this point and to that point. Then I made a box. But now to get it perfectly even and right and correct, because sometimes you're going to be off a little bit one side or the other, I made an X. I went from corner to corner. So now I'm centering all that mess. If I'm a little bit off this way, or if I'm a little bit off that way, it centers a little bit better. Now I always leave myself a little bit of space around. So that fit the first time perfectly. And if you get that to happen, you're lucky. With as many as them that I've done here, most of them have come out right. It's just you have to be diligent about your measurements. And you sheetrock, if you're pulling off of a cut edge, this is a cut edge here, so I'm pulling some measurements off of the cut edge, and that's not going to be super accurate. So you have to take that into consideration.
But luckily we know a good mud person.
Yeah, he's going to be real busy here in a little bit. Once the weather starts getting a little bit warmer and drier, the mud it'll dry out quicker. It'll cure up. and I can put coat on after coat on. And as big a space as I've got, I'll never have to worry about running out of stuff to do.
I see it. Tell everybody bye.
Bye.